In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. So lions are members of the species Panthera leo, and they're among the largest members of the cat family. In fact, they are the second largest cats after tigers, although a lot of big male lions are probably bigger than certain tigers, especially Bengal tigers. And they're one of the most recognisable animals out there, especially males, because they've got that big mane. When you're a small child, they're probably among the first animals that you actually learn to recognise. And I find it weird that a lot of people get lions and tigers mixed up. Like, I've never really understood that. And lions are obviously pretty important animals within their range. They're obviously apex predators. They're among the largest predators out there. Within their range, they pretty much dominate all other predators. In the African savannas, things like hyenas, leopards, cheetahs will pretty much all bow down when a lion comes along. And you even look at the size difference between lions and other predators. They are massive, like they are really big animals. And lions are unique because they're one of the only social cats. Lions tend to live in prides. These prides are dominated by females. They tend to be mothers, daughters, sisters, aunties, nieces. They'll stay together in the same pride pretty much for life. Lions are also one of the most famous examples of infanticide in nature. When I think of animals that kill each other's young, lions are the number one animal I think of, especially in East Africa, where male lions will kill the cubs of other males to take over their pride. And lions used to have a pretty expansive range. You used to find them not just in Africa, you used to get them all over Asia, parts of Europe. But unfortunately today, lions are pretty much restricted to certain parts of Africa and one pocket in the Gir forest in Asia, which is kind of a shame considering they had such a massive expansive range. And as I've said, lions in their habitat are the apex predators. They've evolved to take on a wide variety of prey, especially bigger herbivores, things like zebra, wildebeest, buffalo, giraffes, elephants in some cases. Like, lions can pretty much take on anything within their range, and they will eat smaller prey as well when they need to. And lions are pretty important to us because we are also African mammals. We evolved in the African plains just like lions. We evolved alongside lions, and whenever we went, when we went to Asia, lions were there as well. When we went to Europe, lions were there as well. Like, lions pretty much followed us for quite a long time in our history. And when we evolved in the African plains, unlike lions, we were not apex predators. If anything, we were probably like meso-predators, whereby we'd have hunted things, but other things would have definitely killed us. Things like leopards, hyenas, and lions would definitely gone for us. That instinctive fear that we all feel, you know, especially if you're walking around a corner at night, you're not really sure what's there, that ultimately comes from being predated on the African savannah. And ultimately, if a lion wants to go for you, there's not a huge amount you can do. Like, your best bet is just to stand your ground and hope that it gives in. But if you run, a lion will definitely get you. And lions are really fast. Like, I remember years ago being in South Africa and seeing a lion, looking away, turning back, and it was gone. Like, they can move pretty fast when they want to. And while it isn't as common anymore, lions do still hunt and eat people. And we tend to think of that as quite an unusual thing. Like, when a lion kills someone, we tend to think of them as being, you know, pretty unhealthy lions, like lions that have got other options. The most famous man-eating lions were the Tsavo lions. Back when they were building that railway line in East Africa in the 1800s, these two male lions killed hundreds of people that were working on this railway line. Over the course of quite a while, there's a film about it, The Ghost in the Darkness. I mean, it's not a very good film. If you want to see Val Kilmer doing a pretty bad Irish accent, rest in peace Val Kilmer, then feel free to tune into that. Michael Douglas is also pretty crazy in that one. And those two lions are now stuffed in a museum, and you look at them and they don't look healthy. Like, they've not even got fully formed manes yet. Their teeth were underdeveloped, which is suspected to be the reason they were targeting people and not more natural prey. As much as we'd like to deny it, hunting humans is actually pretty natural for a lion. As I've said, lions have evolved to eat a wide variety of animals, us included. So in some ways, far from it being a pretty unnatural thing for a lion to hunt a human, it's actually the most natural thing in the world. And I think the most famous lion that's ever lived was probably Elsa. So for those of you that don't know, Elsa was a lion cub that was taken in by Joy and George Adamson in Kenya. She was hand-reared and basically was completely habituated to humans. And there was this massive media frenzy around it. Like, she became pretty famous, and that, to be fair, probably helped to change people's perceptions of lions. It made lions seem less beastly and more like an animal that you know, could be pals with. And this was definitely romanticised. A book and a film came out about it. The film's pretty good. The actual story itself is pretty horrific. Basically, George shot Elsa's mum. They took the cub in. Joy and George, by all accounts, were not great people. Joy was pretty horrible to a lot of her porters. They had a pretty unhappy marriage. Elsa had cubs, which also became habituated, which led to them becoming problem animals. They did attack people. Elsa died of a disease. Joy was murdered by her own servants. George went off and he was killed later on. Like, the whole story is pretty grim. It's not a very happy story at all, though it did ultimately change the perception of lions. And the Born Free Foundation still does conservation work to this day. So, you know, overall, positive things came out of this pretty horrific situation. And I think when you think of lions in fiction, lions are very rarely portrayed as the bad guys. I think the most famous villainous lion is Scar in The Lion King, but him being a bad lion is kind of negated by the fact that all the other lions are good in the film. Considering lions are among our oldest enemies, we tend to really idolise them. We don't think of anything bad about them. As I've said, The Lion King, the lions are always the good guys. Aslan in the Narnia books is literally Jesus. Like, I mean, we definitely put lions on a pedestal, and it's weird because other big cats tend to be portrayed in a more villainous light in fiction. Things like tigers, leopards are definitely the baddies more than they're the good guys. Lions, definitely not the case. And we do have a weird thing with lions, and maybe it's because we kind of admire and respect them because, you know, we had that healthy respect for them because they were our top predators. The fact that we've given them the title of King of the Jungle, despite the fact that lions don't even live in the jungle, kind of says a lot about that. We tend to really revere them. And when you look at the national animal of countries, lions pop up more than any other. Like, they're the national animal of Kenya, England, Luxembourg, Norway, Belgium, like loads of countries that don't even have lions have them as their national animal. It's quite weird, but I think that reverence for lions is very much wrapped up in the male lion. There's a lot of historical figures that have been dubbed, you know, Lionheart or, you know, the lion because of their bravery. And again, that is specifically to do with the male lion. And I think the reason the male lion is revered so much is because it's almost a symbol of masculinity. Without getting political, I think lions are the most notable example of sexual dimorphism in species. This is where one sex is much larger than the other. Things like elephant seals are a more extreme version of that, but the fact that the male lion is bigger and has this massive impressive mane, which could almost be seen as a crown, which I think is wrapped up in the royalty aspect of our perception of lions, and I think the historical patriarchal nature of human society has led to the male lion being adopted so frequently in our symbolism. And I find that quite interesting, considering lions have a pretty female-dominated society, that we've chosen them to be almost a symbol of our more patriarchal one. And while lions were probably our main predator for so long, that is no longer the case. Since the invention of the firearm, the turns have definitely been turned in our favour, and historically lions have been a pretty big target for trophy hunters. To this day, lions are still hunted. Canned lion hunting is a thing in Africa, whereby they'll have a load of captive lions that they'll kind of release to be shot. It's not a great practice, but it probably does prevent people from going out and killing more wild lions. When hunting was this massive, you know, traditionally, more, let's be honest, more masculine, you know, undertaking, where a man would go out and conquer nature. Certainly in Africa, lions were like the top animal for that. Like, outside of animals that you'd hunt for food, or, you know, things like elephants for ivory, lions were definitely like the number one animal you'd go out and hunt, because it was the ultimate symbol of man conquering the wild. In fact, that goes right the way back to Greek mythology. Like, the first trial that Hercules had to undertake was killing the Nemean lion. Like, you know, we've always wanted to kill lions because it's the ultimate turning of the tables. But in recent years, killing lions has not been viewed very favourably. Like when Cecil the lion got killed because he wandered out of his reserve and he was basically illegally killed by that dentist. Like, people were in uproar. That was like global news. People were raging about that. That's ultimately down to the fact that we just like lions because we admire them so much. So to summarise, lions are, you know, pretty impressive animals. They're the apex predators of their environment. However, that doesn't stop them being killed by humans, who ultimately weirdly admire them, especially, you know, male lions, which are really the animals we're hunting for trophies. And while lions used to be a major threat to humans, today, the number of lions that get killed by humans is much higher than the number of humans that get killed by lions. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video, and what you think of lions in general. Like, what do you think of them? Let me know in the comments below. And yes, I will be doing more of these. I enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed researching for it. I also liked researching my video I did on dogs. If you haven't seen that, feel free to check that out. And yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments below what you'd like me to talk about next. I've now got quite a long list of animals I'd like to talk about. And also, I don't just want to be doing, like, large mammals. Like, I'd quite like to do a variety of stuff. So, you know, if you've got any recommendations for things like, you know, invertebrates, insects, marine life, reptiles, stuff with birds, like, you know, I'd like to be doing a lot of other stuff. So, you know, feel free to let me know. As I've said, I've got quite a long list already. But if you recommend stuff, then, you know, that might bump it up the list a little bit. So, you know, let me know. And yeah, as ever, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, or don't if you don't want to. It's perfectly fine. And I'll see you next time for whatever I'm talking about. I probably will be doing a series soon, so fear not. And yeah, I'll see you then, and goodbye.